Talk about going back and forth. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are going to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Again.
What it is, isn't it?
November 15th. What do you make of it?
Backed by popular demand, their wishes are command, I suspect. I am in the business of liking steak, not hamburger. And I think it's a hamburger. But I know that people liked it. I think that all the narratives have been spun out. There'll be some script writers busily creating an opportunity to create some controversy. We've run it all. We've run it back. I mean, I was listening to Johnny Nelson. It's interesting that Johnny now thinks that Conor Benn's going to win this fight, which lays plans to the best laid plans of mice of men for a third fight and an opportunity to wheel in.
One apiece, you got to do it again.
Wheel in the Brinks-Matt delivery of more money for these two guys. Look, I understand why they're fighting. I understand the relevance of the fight economically. I would have liked to see Conor go off and fight for a world title because I think there's one's available for him to win. But the public loved it.
Yeah,
I was less enamoured by it. I mean, Conor sulking.
Did you watch the first one? I know you
didn't watch it
go.
live. I watched it on the Saturday morning.
Okay.
Because I felt if I didn't watch it, I wouldn't have much to say on it on Monday, and everyone would just say you didn't watch it, so how can you have any comment on it? But I wasn't as invested as other people. I sort of said all along that I didn't think it was going to be the greatest of fights. I understand that people did think it was a great fight. It was an honest fight. There were two guys in there putting out their very best because of the
history,
circumstances and the history, and so they should. Yeah. They made such a 4-act play out of it, and they're trading off their fathers' names. The two great fighters were Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. These two are poor imitations.
But good imitations.
Well, I think they're... Yeah, listen, we would describe this fight very... First of all, no one would pay 50 grand for it if it wasn't the Eubank and Benn names above the door. And secondly, we would probably describe it differently if we weren't all sucked into the sentimentality and nostalgia trip. You know, Waste is going to earn 500 million quid because of nostalgia. Nostalgia sells. Yeah. So I get it. And I get the fact that there was a lot
But then you've got to deliver in the ring.
And they did.
As Oasis have got to perform at Wembley.
And they did. They gave a spectacle. And they gave the very least they could do, which was absolutely leave it all in the ring. As far as quality is concerned, I've been fortunate, as have you, over the last 2 years, because of the change of direction and the money that's been brought into boxing, because of the innovation of Frank Warren and because of the finances of the Saudis, you're seeing all of the best fights now. You've got this embarrassment of riches. So whilst I get it and I understand that it's a great British tradition to dig out things like this, I'm not as invested. And people say it's you being miserable. Conor's that doesn't want to talk to me anymore because I dare say anything critical, but I couldn't care less. If people want to watch it, fair play to them. And they're going to get paid a lot of money. The interesting thing will be, can it live up to whatever hype they're going to have to create? Because the deal has been done, the deed has been seen. It's whether we can do something different to capture the public's imagination.
Which is going to be difficult because it almost seemed to tick all the right boxes, didn't it?
Probably will. There's enough money in the room. You know, you can't slap somebody in the face with an egg. You can't call somebody a cheat anymore. You know, you can't reveal that someone's father is now talking to you when they weren't previously. You can't do any of this again. So you've got to do something different. Yeah. And they are nothing if not imaginative. And Chris Eubank Jr. is a master at work when it comes to...
Oh, he's fantastic.
It's fabulous to watch. I don't always agree with the things that he says and does, and I didn't like him when he watched Billy Joe Saunders get knocked out or stopped by Canelo Alvarez and revelling in the fact that Billy Joe Saunders had stopped the fight rather than go out on his shield, as he thought. But I think when he goes into press conferences and he starts splattergunning people and having the balls to do it, I think fair play to you. It is box office to watch.
It's quite similar to you in that sense.
Well, but that's flattering. But, I mean, he is very, very good, very bold, very strong. He can only rehash so much. He can tell Eddie Hearn to shut up so many times now. He can tell his brother-in-law to shut up so many times. We've seen all that, right? We've got to see something different.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you surprised they've not gone to Wembley, considering how big the first one was and how much of a success it was? If you can get an extra 30,000 in there, why wouldn't you go to
Yeah, I don't know whether the logistics of Wembley at that time were available to them.
True. Yeah, maybe,
whether Daniels made it such an appealing proposition economically that because they want to utilise Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because they need to monetise it for outside events. I don't know. The fact of the matter is that it was a resounding success. Another 30,000 fans in there might bring in another 3 million quid or maybe a little bit more. It's
pays for the undercard.
It pays for the undercard, but the undercard will pay for itself in this. I mean, it'll be fascinating to see who's on the undercard. You got any indications of that?
Nothing yet. Hopefully, by the time we do the boxing hour at 12 to 1, we might have a bit more news.
It'll be interesting to see also how Ben Shalom fits into the equation now. Lots of background noise. A lot of money will be made out of the first fight. A lot of money will be made out of the second fight. This might be helping Boxer regain some poise.
What's going on with Ben? Have you heard from Ben? You two have a bit of a relationship.
I've spoken to Ben a couple of times. He will have things to say. He's not going to run around. Obviously, Queensbury and Matchroom are going to dance on his supposed grave because of the loss of the Sky contract. He'll have another broadcast deal. I think he should be communicating better than he is now because I think he's allowing the vacuum to be filled by other people and he's allowing noise to be built up. And the one thing in sport, or the two things in sport that are the biggest commodities are gossip and money, right?
Yeah.
And there's lots of that going on.
A lot of gossip, a lot of money.
Yeah. And so, Ben needs to be front and centre controlling his own destiny, but he's captain of his own ship. He'll row the boat how he wants to.
Indeed. Again, we will talk more on that. Ben Eubank, we are having the boxing hour, normally on a Thursday. It will be a Wednesday. Spencer Oliver is going to join us in studio for that as always, as will Anthony Yarde, who has a big fight coming up November against David Benavidez. World title fight for Anthony Yarde. So it'll be interesting to get his views on all things boxing. I want to get immediate thoughts from everyone around the table about Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. 2. Announced, or should I say Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn? He'll probably message me. November 15th, a week before your fight, November 15th. November, all of a sudden, looking busy. What do you make of it, Spence?
From a selfish point of view, I want to see it again because the first one was an absolute barnstormer. But do you get the same again? Look, sometimes we have had that. We had it in trilogies with like Eric Morales and Barrera. We saw that the styles just gelled so well. I think with what's on the line with these two, the family feud that goes back so long and the egos that are involved and the will to win. I think we get it again. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it favours Conor more going into this second fight than it does Chris Eubank because of the stipulations that have been put in place. That are all pretty much the same. I think it's quite widely known that Chris Eubank Jr. does struggle to make 160, so it's how he makes that. The rehydration clause is still in place, etc., etc. So look, it's an interesting fight. The first one was a close fight. I thought Eubank deserved to win that one, but it could be closer, this one.
You fought on that card, the first one. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, packed. Absolutely packed. Are you surprised they're doing it again, or did it just make sense because if it makes money, it makes sense, right? And the first one made quite a lot of money.
That's it. I don't think it... For me, it's like they've done it. They gave us such a good fight. I literally had my fight because I was a fight just before. I had my fight. I still had my shorts on. I had to do the drug test, so I told them to come with me. I wanted to watch the fight. So we was there ringside. I enjoyed it a lot. I just feel like they gave us what we wanted, even with the weight difference or whatever. Me personally, they both left the ring. As I said, I wanted a good fight. They both left happy. Well, not both happy, but they both left healthy. More money in their pocket.
Move on.
Let it go, move on. But, again, I'm not mad at them that they did it again.
That's the argument, though, isn't it, Simon? Chris should go maybe to 168 if he wants to continue boxing. If you're Conor, you look at the 147 division right now. It's not hot. Yeah. I mean, there's a chance to win a world title at 147 if you're Conor.
It's a balance.
Shouldn't you be doing that?
I mean, ultimately, I said it earlier on, I like steak, not hamburger. But that's my view. That the money that they're going to get from this fight is significant. They're not going to get the same sort of money elsewhere. I think with due respect, prize fighting has its meaning. I think Chris fights for money. I don't think he fights for titles. And that's why I've always had an issue with him, and because we've heard lots of noise from Chris. And I like him. I think he's a superstar in the way that he conducts himself in the media. But we've always heard about Las Vegas Mansions and his card scores and how he does this and how he does that. When it comes to fighting, and he wants to fight Triple G and he wants that, but never does. And I think there's something to be said. I mean, he's going to fight for world titles. I mean, he's going to get paid for fighting for a world title, but he's going to fight for a world title. So I'd rather watch Anthony Yarde fight David Benavidez every day of the week and twice on Sunday than watch Conor Benn fight Chris Eubank because their fathers are great. Sorry, I know that might be mean-spirited and people can have their view on it, but...
You can't deny, though, that the first fight wasn't an absolute barnstormer, and stylistically, we will get that again.
Yeah, I mean, you got what you should get. If you're going to go and represent your fathers and trade off their names and you're going to sell it as something that people want to see, the least you can go and do is leave it all in there, right? Let's not be grateful for that. I know that when we get a stinker that we say, well, actually, we got a stinker, we should have got something better. But with all the noise, all the furore, we should have got what we got. But did we, as a fight, in terms of if you're looking at it as a spectacle, yes, it was a barn burner, Spence, and I agree with you, and you've got more knowledge, and he's got more knowledge than I'll ever know, right, because you've both done it. But as an impartial observer looking at it, I like people to be at the very top of their craft if they're getting rewarded the kind of rewards that these guys are getting. And I think we sell people things, and we sell them pups. Yeah, okay, great barn burner, fantastic. I've seen it. I've watched it now. I don't need to watch it again.
So you won't watch it live?
I didn't watch it live last time, no.
We won't watch this one live?
I don't know, it depends what I'm doing.
From a business point of view, from Chris' side, though, you go, look, when you look at it and where he's sat in his career right now, and you're right in what you say, is that does he go for that world title and follow that dream of becoming a world champion, or does he go in for the business side of things and get an astronomical amount of money in a fight against a guy that he well believes that he'll win again? And I'm not sure that world title opportunity has come forward quick enough for him, and that's why this fight's going on.
I probably agree in the principle of why wouldn't you take it if you're them? Because you're in the business now at a certain stage in your career. Conor is the one I'm more disappointed in because I think Conor's career is in a certain position. And I think he does I know there was a lot of affection for him after the performance that he put in against Chris Eubank in the first fight, which I thought he would do anyway, because the one thing Conor Benn is his game. But I also think there's a credibility. World title, I think he gets credibility. I think fighting Chris Eubank, he gets more notoriety, more recognisability, and a bigger bank balance. He can have all of that and win a world title.
Isn't Conor at the age, though, I guess a question to you as well, Anthony, where he can maybe have this and still fight for a world title after? Conor's not the same age as Chris Eubank Jr. He's several years younger.
Yeah, but again, the way I always see boxing, especially a sport like boxing, is, you know, one fight can change everything. That's not even me thinking negative. That's the reality of the sport. So, my personality has always been, you know, I want to win a world title.
Want to test yourself.
I want to test myself. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be able to look in the mirror when I retire and say, yeah, I know that person. Like, really, look in my eyeball and say, I know who that person is. I'm not just a talker. I went through it. There's no regrets. I know what would happen if I went into that fight because I went into it.
You could do that if you retired tomorrow, though, with the fighters that you've boxed for world titles before. Going to box Kovalev back in Russia in 2019, who was a pound-for-pound star.
Yeah.
And then, you know, last time out as well against Benavidez, who again was a pound-for-pound star. You could actually retire tomorrow and say, look, I got my world title opportunities and I went in there and give it my best shot. So, you know, I think you fulfilled that side of it, haven't you?
Yeah, I have fulfilled that side in terms of courage, in terms of knowing who I am as a person. But I want to fulfill the dream, you know, the good side of it is winning the fight. That's just my personality and my character. And yeah, what a journey. So
It's crazy with you. I always think, like, and this isn't to discredit anyone that's won a world championship. I've not laced up the gloves professionally, so I wouldn't do that. But you've had the hardest task
literally
trying to fight for a world title that it can be. I mean, Benavidez, Beterbiev and Kovalev.
Yeah.
I mean, there are easier ways to win a world title. Sometimes you must almost be proud of yourself, the fact that, okay, I've had that, I'm facing these challenges, but also at the same time, surely there could have been an easier way, an easier route to a world title.
Yeah, definitely. But my only mentality is, now I need to win. I need to win the fight. I don't lie to myself, you know. Yes, I can be proud. I'm different from a lot of other fighters. Not a lot of fighters, 18 fights in, one of the biggest prospects in the UK at the time, would have gone to Russia to fight someone like Kovalev. Same thing with Beterbiev. They would have said, nah. There's other routes, especially if you're talking about making money and things like that.
Do you regret any of those?
No.
You wouldn't have gone back and thought, nope, maybe take a couple more before Kovalev?
No.
Experience? No?
Absolutely
But
not.
you're all about opportunity, and that's what boxing presents to you. And it's like, you know, whoever's in front of you, some people get lucky and they get a weak world champion and that opportunity comes up. And then they can go on and, you know, monetize it other ways. But you've taken that opportunity when you said, look, you could have shut the door on both of those fights if you really wanted to and gone for different avenues. But I love that, you know, if the opportunity is presented to you as a prize fighter and you go, that's it, because I'm chasing my dream. That's what it's all about.
And look, this is what I'm going to tell you something about me, yeah? There's some people that say, oh, yeah, you know, it's a common thing in boxing where they start saying he's fighting for money. He's taking a fight because of money. If I was a person that was in the sport just for money, I'm not saying I'm not in the sport for money, but if it was just for money, I would have taken step aside money against Kovalev because they offered me the exact same amount to step aside so he could fight Canelo. I said, no. I said, I've got my opportunity. I've worked my way to the number one spot. I want to fight Kovalev. I don't care where it is. So that shows my character. I'm always going to go for the biggest opportunity possible for me. And this is why I get upset when people start saying, why are you not fighting this person? Why are you not fighting that person? I'm saying, I've shown my character. I will fight anybody that makes sense. I will fight anybody who the public really want me to fight. Not naming no names. I will fight anybody who is in my weight division that's highly ranked. On paper, better than me. You know, because I'm a realist. Benavidez, Kovalev, Beterbiev, on paper, they should wipe the floor with me. But again, I've gone in there each time and shown a better account of myself, and this time will be even better. And enough to win.
That's what we want to see, don't we? That's what we want to see. I want to hear. Finally, just and putting to bed, we'll talk about it so much more in the lead up to it. Conor versus Chris. Wembley was an option. Are you surprised they've not gone Wembley, actually? I mean, Tottenham, 60,000, Wembley, nearly 95. They could have sold out Wembley.
Do you know what, though? I think the atmosphere in Tottenham,
better, isn't it?
the way that the stadium is built,
Yeah.
mate, is just insane. Like, we've done Wembley, we've done Tottenham.
A bowl, isn't it? It's like a bowl.
It is. It's like it was built for boxing, the way that it is, and the sound that it keeps in there. So, look, I'm not surprised they went back to Tottenham, if I'm honest.
Who do you think wins?
I think Eubank wins again.
Do you care? Can I ask you? Who do you make as favourite?
Eubank. I think it's rinse and repeat, but I think Conor gets closer. I'd like to see Conor win. But the trouble with that is then we've got to have a bloody third. Right? Because that will be the next thing, won't it? So let's hope Chris Eubank wins so we can put it to bed.
It would be terrible if you had to watch another third Barnstable.
He would hate it, isn't it? Yeah. He would hate it. Who do you think wins? I know you know both of them, so it's always difficult.
I know both of them, so I don't really like to call a winner.
Who's favourite then?
I think favourite again is going to be Eubank. He's a bigger guy. He's got that, again, attributes, experience, fought the bigger names, etc. Yeah.
He looked so much bigger as well, didn't he?
Well,
in the ring that day, I thought he looked a lot bigger.
Well,
I know they tried to dehydrate him and take everything out of him, but he just almost ballooned into like a light heavyweight.
It's insane because you see him on fight week, you see them both together on fight week, and you think they look 2 weight divisions apart. You see him on the weigh-in, they look the same because Chris is completely stripped down, and then the day after when they get in the ring, that size advantage is there again, but it does have an effect on the body, taking all that weight out and whatnot. Like, there's so many ifs, buts and maybes around this fight because of the weight stipulation. It's the same rules that applied before. It's so much, so you just don't know what that takes out of Chris. And, Conor, like you say, is 27. He's improving all the time. The momentum is with him. He would have gained a lot from that one. Can Chris improve again? Can he go to the well like he did last time? Because in round 9, when we looked at Chris in round 9, I remember him walking back to the corner after round 9, and you'll respect what I'm saying. You'll understand this. He had his head down. I thought, that corner's got to do some work because he looks a little deflated. And from somewhere, he dug something out. And it's that championship mindset, I suppose. He dug it out from somewhere and he pushed on because he was the one that looked spent after 9 rounds. And in those final few rounds, the penultimate rounds, 10, 11, 12, you looked at it and you go, that is fighting spirit, man. Where has he found that from?
Championship rounds, he's been there before.
Yeah.
That's what it is, isn't it? It's been there before. All right, listen to Oladipo and Jordan on talkSPORT with Selco Beardle's Warehouse. It's where the trade go. More from Spencer Oliver and Anthony Yarde when we come back. And we're going to be looking ahead to that August 16th card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Moses Itauma, the future king, some say, taking on a man that I think is going to cause him some problems, Dillian Whyte. All right, let's talk your fight, Anthony. Coming up. I say coming up November 22nd. When does training camp start? You look like you're already in training camp, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm always training, but this time we're doing it. We've got enough time. I've never really had a long time to prepare for a fight or prepare for a particular opponent. So yeah, we're utilising it.
I did the face-off. I tried to start trouble in the face-off. Nothing happened. Between him and Benavidez, I was trying my hardest. Like, come on, someone do something. And they were friendly. But that was the first time you saw him about, 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
What's it like when you first made eye contact? Because for me, it was kind of like, oh, this is quite menacing. Because he was there waiting for you at the door. You came in and you both kind of had a look at each other for about 3-4 seconds, then smiled and sort of, embraced a bit.
Yeah.
What's that initial moment when you meet your opponent like?
It's another human being, isn't it? Like, hey, how you doing?
And that's how you were, though.
We punching each other soon. No, literally, you just look at each other. You look at the height, the size. It's just normal. Everyone does it. Even when you see boxers, you're not even prepared to fight yet. You always look at them.
It's just the sizing up,
okay.
Isn't it? Like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll dip and I'll throw that. It's just one of them things, man. But yeah, there's a lot of respect there. And I always see it as, when there's a lot of respect there and you know who's in front of you, you're due to get a little, barnyard shootout.
And it's going to be a shootout, isn't it, between you two? I think both of you kind of said that during the face-off as well, which will be out on DAZN soon, that you respect each other.
Yeah, definitely.
You know exactly the strengths that both of you have. When you sized them up then, I mean, are you looking at a guy that is now a fully fledged 175er? Are you thinking I'm the bigger guy? Are you looking at a guy that's coming up to your weight class?
For me, it's none of the above. If people go back and look, Benavidez was a little fatty.
Yeah.
When he went into the gym, he was big. He was massive. And, I think they said he was going to be a cruiserweight when he started. But then he went down to super middleweight. Now he's coming up to light heavyweight. He could go on to cruiserweight because he's big, he's taller than me. So I'm not really focusing on the weight or anything like that. I'm just focusing on giving it to him. like seeing if he can actually handle someone attacking his. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all. It's going to be fun to wait and see.
Well, he's known as the monster, isn't he? And
Yeah.
we know what he's all about. He's like 24 KOs out of his 30 wins. He comes, he has a fight, stands in the ring exactly as you do.
Yeah.
So I think you can get nothing but a barnstormer. You know, stylistically, you guys don't move around the ring, and you're both heavy-handed, so it's going to be a shootout.
Exactly.
A tactical shootout.
A tactical shootout. I don't think it's just as plain sailing as us just standing there and just
Of course.
swinging punches.
That's what I say, tactical. Yeah.
But there's gonna come a time where we start swinging, we start throwing punches. I think that's what's exciting for the fans. That's what's exciting for me. And again, with his personality, I think that's what's exciting for him as well.
I think when you go in there with styles like you both got, it can go like you get that feeling straight away, and it's when you decide to roll the dice, and that might happen as early as the first or second round because he's tagged you with one, you've got to go back, etc., etc. Or it can be one of those that just sort of manifests itself and like grows into it, and that's the beauty of this fight. You just look at it and go, I think they'd lock horns early, but it may be a little bit of a chess match at first. You don't really know until that bell rings. The fighters don't even know.
The fighters don't even know. He's known to be a volume puncher. He overwhelms his opponents. I think it's quite similar to Beterbiev, just different stylistically. But again, on paper, he don't hit as hard as Beterbiev, and again, he goes a different way about it. You know, he more plants his feet, you know, throws more punches, where Beterbiev will more jump in, loop in, throw hard shots, and then let off. So again, we'll have to just wait and see which style suits me better.
Where are you now, Anthony? Third world title shot. You've gone into both of the two world titles against Kovalov and against Beterbiev as an underwhelming underdog.
Yeah.
And you've come out, and you're going to not like it, but you've come out with noble defeats. And it's no good having noble defeats. You've got to win. Benavidez now is the third shot at it. How do you are you in a different mindset than you were in the first two fights? Do you like to have respect for your opponent? Do you like to have a bit of rivalry? Do you like to have a bit of needle? How do you like to approach these fights? And how will you approach this fight, given this is the third time you're going in for a world title now? And all of them are difficult.
For me, it's being the best version of myself. You know, there's no pressure on me because I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. Don't care what you think. I care about what I think of myself. Right. And I'm ambitious. So I want to win a world title. I don't want to be known as a guy who almost done it or the guy with just courage. Yes, I've got all them things. Yes, I motivate people from where I'm from or whatever. But for me, it's bigger than that. It's opportunity, and this is why I work so hard. I've always seen myself as someone that's catching up. You know, I started boxing late, had basically no amateur fights. So that's why my mentality is just opportunity.
What have you learned from the two world title defeats? But that could be key going into this one. What have you taken from them defeats?
I can take a shot. When it gets gritty, I can still stand in and trade off. I've learned to pace myself a bit better, as you saw with the.
Did you gain confidence from them?
100%. You know, if I watched the Beterbiev fight the other day, and he landed some shots which he's put people away with, and I still stood there and said, okay, and then marched forward, and no one's pushed him back until me. So with these things having taken place, I can definitely go into this fight with more confidence.
Not to get nostalgic, I will, but do you look at what you've achieved so far and feel a sense of pride and proud? Like we're from the same neck of the woods, and again, you mentioned no amateur pedigree at all, really, and no red carpet was thrown out to you like it is for Olympians, where you're expected to go on and sort of become world champions. No one expected that of you. You kind of forged that for yourself.
Yeah.
Although you haven't become a world champion,
do
you look at yourself and think, do you look at yourself and think, we've achieved quite a lot? We can sort of have a time to reflect and pat ourselves on the back, or is that once the career's over?
I think it's once the career's over. I know the reality of it. As you're saying, we come from the same place, and it don't happen often. And when I'm walking around my area, I still nod around, you know, acting I'm like I'm normal. Well, I'm not a normal person, but people see me and they're like, what are you doing around here? Why are you on the train? I'm like, what do you mean why I'm on the train? I'm meant to get where I'm going.
Not everyone has a show for like something.
I can get that, but I don't want to sit in traffic all this time. I want to get on the train where it's 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. But yeah, it is something to look back and be proud of. For me, the proudest moment for me was overcoming a fear of caring about what people think.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Well said.
Important.
How do you think, Spence, this fight, in terms of who he's fighting, Benavidez comes with this reputation. There's a question, and I had a conversation with Frank about it, about whether he carries the power up, because in his two light heavyweights, he hasn't stopped anybody. Previous to that, he's stopping pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think this represents, talking about you, do you think this represents the best opportunity for him?
That's what I was going to say. Out of the 3 opponents that he's boxed for a world title, this, for me, would be the best opportunity.
So that is pressure for you, isn't it?
Kovalev at the time going to Russia and boxing Kovalev, who was a heavy-handed monster at the time, and Benavidez. You just look at those two, Beterbiev, and we look at those two and see where Benavidez is. He's the guy moving up, and he's considered a monster, but not like those two were. And I just go if there's a time you're going to win a world title, it's November 22nd.
Yeah, there are monsters, and then there are monsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Beterbiev and Kovalev, I'm sorry, are monsters.
I've got another
Benavidez.
question for you. If
we need to go break, you got to hurry up here, Spence.
this is very quick. Will you feel like you've underachieved if you do not win a world title?
It's not even in my mindset.
Nice.
I'm going to win a world title.
Nice.
There you go. Perfect. Saved me from jumping in. We've got to go break. All right, more from Spencer Oliver and Anthony Yarde next. When we come back, we're going to look at the prospect of Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul here until 1 o'clock. Anthony's going to stay with us for another 10 minutes or so. Text come in. It says, Anthony Yarde sounds like a proper dude. An inspiration to us all. Takes on the best. This one's coming from Niall. Anthony Yarde is my favourite boxer. So entertaining and always comes to fight. Can't wait for his fight against DB. Going to be a barnstormer. You getting love?
Thank you, man.
That must be nice as well, getting love from the British public. You know, they can just swing.
Yeah.
Like
Trust me.
Those texts could be from the same person and it changes tomorrow.
It's true. No, but again, I do get it when I go out a lot, because I feel like some people really appreciate courage.
Yeah.
Or people having a lot of talent and, not really trying to monopolize it too much or try to plan it too perfectly. Just okay, cool, I'm a boxer. These are the best in the division. These are the people I want to fight. And that's been my mentality from the beginning.
I think people just appreciate it. All right, let's talk, before we talk AJ, Jake Paul, which is a serious conversation, people. Let's talk about August 16th first. Moses Itauma, his first headline event, takes on the body snatcher, Dillian Whyte. You first on this. How good is Moses? I mean, you must hear the stories that everyone seems to hear about the sparring and all that. How good is Moses when you're watching him?
I've seen Moses, and I've said this from the beginning, from when he was 18, 19. This guy, he's it.
He's it.
He is it. He is it. This is my opinion. It's boxing. I know it's pressure and all these kind of things or whatever, but he's it.
Why?
He's got a skill set, fast hands, footwork. From what I've seen, he's got a chin. Not that you need to be getting hit with these wild shots, because clearly you've done something wrong if you got hit. Good jab, For me, in my opinion, he's it.
He ticks all the boxes for sure. Just to echo what you said there, with the boxing IQ, hand speed, punch power. We've seen him take a shot. The rumours come in from the gyms as well. He can take a shot. He has spars with recognised fighters in there, hard spars as well. So he ticks all the boxes. The only things that we don't know about him is what is he like in them penultimate rounds.
Yeah.
When it gets tough, when it becomes psychological over the physicalities. And that's what we've got to see, or what we've got to find out. But so far, you just look at this kid and go, he is the next super heavyweight.
What we haven't seen as well is, obviously, he's headlining this card.
Yeah.
But the pressure, the pressure of headlining is different from being the guy on the undercard that no one's asking for interviews. The interviews are going to be multiples now. He's only 20. Can he take that pressure as well? There's a different type of pressure.
I don't think Francis and latterly Frank would put him in that position they didn't think he could. I mean, yeah, you're right. He's got to do face-offs. He's got to carry the press conferences. He's got a personality. Dillian should really be able to manipulate that to his advantage because he's been there. But Dillian was like a mouse when he was in a press conference with Tyson Fury. So there's a debate about how Dillian will be in his press conference. But I think Moses Itauma's got the personality to do whatever he wants. He's very calm, very stoic. He's, it all seems to be going on behind the eyes, and you don't see much from him. I mean, he's being bolder in some of the language he uses now, and a little bit more challenging, and a little bit more demanding of the opposition in terms of who he wants to fight and how he wants to fight and who he thinks he can beat. But I don't think, in the same, he knows Frank very well. Frank Warren doesn't put people into fights that they don't have a significant chance in. And Moses Itauma is a cash cow with due respect to Queensberry and all the different heavyweights they've got and all the different opportunities they've got and what they've done in the last 2 years by changing the face of boxing, by forging this relationship with the Saudis, Moses has huge opportunity, and putting him as headline becomes part and parcel of it. Get him in early, because one of the things you're going to try and do is make sure he's got a personality to cope with it, because when he gets to the next level, and I think he will beat Dillian, and I think he'll beat Dillian convincingly, with no disrespect intended. I just think Moses he's not the light at the end of the tunnel, he's the train. Right, and that's what Dillian's going to run into.
It's all about the development, and I think if Moses is the fighter, which we all agree on, he is, then he will feed off this, and it'll bring a better Moses Itauma out, which is going to be tough for Dillian at this stage of his career. He's been a good fighter and he's been in some great fights, but you just go, boxing is all about timing, man. And you got this young kid that's coming through against a world-class operator that maybe not at his best now, and you go, this is all about timing. And I think Frank Warren is great at doing that, delivering the fights. And I know that Dillian Whyte is working with Frank as well, but Dillian now gets the opportunity, the pension fund, if you like, going in against the young star in Moses. So it's a big opportunity for him to put himself back in the name. Moses is, WBO #1 at the moment? Mm-hmm. So this is Dillian's route back in. But I think we all agree, Moses Itauma is he's something special.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times, haven't we? The young gun coming through against the experienced vet. Remember, it's all live on talkSPORT as well. August 16th, Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. Filip Hrgovic is on the card against David Adelaide, which should be an interesting fight as well. Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman, world title fight in the featherweight division. All right, will Anthony Joshua fight Jake Paul? Come on, you're AJ's best mate. Get him up, phone him. Or Anthony Joshua, your best friend, fight Jake Paul.
I really don't know, mate. This world has gone crazy. Let me rephrase this. Who's going to sanction it? That's where I'm at on it, right? Because if we all know, look what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. Look what he done to him. He iced him, right? Absolutely leveraged him. If you put Ngannou in with Jake Paul now, who would win that fight? Ngannou would be a massive favourite in there.
In a boxing match, would he be a massive favourite? Would Ngannou be a massive favourite in a boxing match? Okay,
huge.
Size is a big thing, I think people will discredit size. Size is a big thing. Size, power, strength.
We live in a crazy world, and I know them negotiations are going on, but I'm just looking at it going, who's going to actually sanction that? Because, this is the hurt game, and someone could get seriously hurt there. Jake Paul is not on that level. I get what he's doing. He's a great marketeer. That's what he does. He sells himself, and he's probably got cojones the size of an elephant. It's that is the reality of it, and he probably fancies that challenge, but come on, man. The fantasy against reality here is what
have they seen? Yes, AJ might not be the top of the tree in the heavyweight division anymore like he once was, but what have they seen to think that AJ's fallen off to that extent that Jake Paul would have any shot at AJ?
But that's if you believe it. I mean,
you don't believe it will happen then?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I spoke to Michael Jarman the other day, and he doesn't. I said, listen, don't worry about legacies. I mean, Anthony Joshua was a two-time world champion at heavyweights. If he wants to fight this kid for 250 million quid, then in 3 or 4 years' time, no one remembered it. He'll remember the 250 million quid in his bank balance, right? So get on with what you want to do rather than what other people think you should do. But Jake Paul's not going to fight Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul's not. Who's he been? He's not been in a live one. He carried. We had to listen to Spencer's old fanny about the Mike Tyson fight was going to be a real one, and we carried him around the ring. And neither should he do. Neither should he do. He's a disgrace. But it's not serious, is it? I mean, Jake Paul is a master of being able to create attention around himself. And Anthony Joshua is not going to go into a ring with Jake Paul in any serious moment in time. Before he fights for his next shot at a major fight.
Right, let's hear from AJ's promoter Eddie Hearn, who I guess will kind of counter. This is what he said to IFL TV.
We kind of went through the contractual points, and there aren't really any major barriers to make this fight. I want to make it clear. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm calling for this fight. We've been targeting this fight. I think the fight's a mismatch. I think AJ destroys him. But if Jake Paul wants this fight and he's serious, the fight will happen.
It shouldn't happen though, should it, Anthony? I mean, surely someone's got to get involved here and say, okay, look, it's fine. Yes, there's a lot of money to be made, and everyone's pockets are going to be lined with millions and millions of dollars. But ultimately, AJ, and you mentioned size just now, AJ 6'5", 260 pounds, shouldn't be fighting Jake Paul.
On paper, no. But I think we've seen crazy things in the sport before.
Yeah, crazy things can happen with a lot of paper.
Exactly. So,
Nothing crazier than this, though.
But who's
I know
got?
we've seen crazy things in a sport, and we like to say that, but this would be the craziest, wouldn't it?
It would be one of the craziest, yeah. Like,
Is this as crazy than Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, isn't
But
it? Or no?
it is the changing of the times, isn't it? And like there's like you say, like what is crazy these days? Like, you know, some of the stuff that's happening within boxing, and boxing being that outlet, you know, that the umbrella of it all. You know, with the YouTubers coming into it, they saw a great market there to come into the boxing and, you know, going against these ex-fighters, Mike Tyson, who you mentioned as well. And you just go, the reality is, yeah, it could happen because that's the world that we live in. And there's a massive audience there, probably end up in Netflix. And there would be a massive audience that financially makes sense for everyone.
and for me, yeah, if we can see Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, when Mike Tyson was old,
58.
58 years old, suffering with all these back issues, had a was it an asthma attack or something like that a couple of weeks before the fight.
I was out there and he had to
He was
walk
in
up
a
the steps,
wheelchair.
mate, and he could barely walk up the steps when he
Exactly.
got out of the car.
So if
I recognised that he was
an icon like Mike Tyson, if he can, you know,
Yeah, if someone can sanction that,
exactly.
then
So let's
you can
have
sanction
the
anything.
AJ and Jake Paul, because I thought it's very similar. It's very similar.
Crazy, isn't it? On the other spectrum, Alex Krasik, who used to manage Alexander Usyk, I thought did a fantastic job. He's been speaking recently. He spoke to WBN, World Boxing News, and he said this. I want to get your take on this because we continually ask what's going to happen with Alexander Usyk. He said, I don't see him fighting anymore, at least in boxing. He's proved it all. There's nothing more to gain for sure. There's going to be some dossers around pushing him to the ring again. I don't know who he's referencing there. As a friend, I will do my best to convince him to retire.
He'll go into MMA and box Jake Paul or fight Jake Paul.
In MMA?
In MMA, yeah. That has been the talks. That are the rumours that are circulating. That is a fight. That's what I'm saying. That's what Jake's bringing to the table, man. You go, now he's switching over to MMA and he's fighting Alexander Usyk. That's a fight that I think has been talked about.
I heard the same thing. I heard it from Andy Lee a couple of weeks ago as well, that there is a lot of talk about Alexander Usyk having a mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah, he'll beat him up in mixed martial arts as well.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, Alexander, I'd rather see him retire. Stop this. This needs to be stopped right now. All right, listening to Oladipo and Jordan on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. Thank you so much to Anthony Yarde. Good luck, November 22nd. Obviously, we'll be out there cheering for you. Up next, we're going to be speaking to Dillian Whyte's trainer, Mr. Buddy McGirt, on the show. Anthony Yarde loved it. He's still with us. I said he could go. He wants to stay. No, I'm happy for you to stay. Mr. Anthony Yarde, it's only 10 minutes. Might as well stay as well. Ade Oladipo, Simon Jordan, Spencer Oliver, and Anthony Yarde. Let's quickly get this man in. He's been waiting for us patiently, and that's the trainer of Buddy McGirt, the trainer of Dillian Whyte, the trainer of Callum Smith, the trainer of so many good fighters at the moment. Buddy McGirt joins us now. Buddy, how are you, sir?
I can't complain. How's everything?
Nothing much. Buddy, how's the obvious question? How's Dillian looking right now? Obviously, look, the last time we saw Dillian, I think to his own, he himself said he didn't look great against Ebenezer Tete. We wanted to see the fight against Joe Joyce. That would have been a good sort of barometer as to where he is. You know where he is. How is he?
He's doing great. You know, to be honest with you, he has a different mindset in this fight than he had with the Tete fight. You know what I mean? I think, you know, when you fight in at different levels, sometimes your mental attitude is different, and he understands the importance of this fight here. You know what I mean? This is, you know, make or break.
Yeah, he does recognise, Buddy, doesn't he, that it's his last chance saloon. He's going against this young, hungry wolf. He calls himself the old wolf, and he must deliver here. He hasn't looked particularly good since losing to Tyson Fury back in 2022. He said that was down to training issues. He was not in any sort of shape. What sort of shape is he in now?
Well, listen, he's in great shape, you know, right now, and I think a lot of it right now is just his mental state of mind and what he has to do on the 16th to you know, take care of business.
From your standpoint, Buddy, look, again, you've been there and done it as a fighter. You've been there and done it as a trainer as well. When you do have someone like Dillian that's taken on the young wolf now, the young lion, and let's be honest, Dillian's been picked here as almost like lamb to slaughter. What do you do in terms of your training to get Dillian prepared for someone as young and as ferocious and as good as Moses?
Well, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with his mental state of mind. I think if you go in there with doubt, you're going to perform in such a way. But his mental state of mind is great. You know what I mean? He's been working hard. I mean, than I've seen him work in the last couple of years, because I think he understands the importance of this fight. I mean, what it means to him in his career. So, it's all about now going out now, and it's like all about bullets and gun smoke, nuts and guts.
Buddy, Moses has been 11 rounds in his last 8 contests, so he's getting rid of people very, very early. He's dangerous early on. Dillian obviously recognised that. He has that experience. Is the game plan here to take Moses into those later rounds where we've not really seen him, and that's where his weakness could be?
Of course. I mean, if you try to go out there and blast him out, you're playing into his hands, because he's young, he's fast, and he can punch. So sometimes you gotta walk him down.
You've been part of the Dillian Whyte team now. Dillian Whyte joined you, right? He left Mark Tibbs and said, okay, I need Buddy McGirt. You've been part of the team for a while. Do you have any say on the opponent? Now, does he come to you, for example, and say, look, okay, this is what we want to do, and then you can kind of give him guidance? Or is it a case of, this is the opponent, get me ready for this opponent, Buddy?
Well, it's like this. In a situation like this, when they come to you, he said to me, listen, Buddy, this is what they're putting on the table for me. I said, so what do you want to do? I mean, I don't want to say, yeah, and you're not feeling it. I want to see what you're feeling. And he goes, I got to go for it. So, all right, let's go. We're a team. So if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I mean, if we got to go through this hailstorm to get to the other side of the we got to do what we got to do.
Buddy, I saw something the other day, and I don't believe you. I want to pull you up on it. I think I saw that you said you haven't seen Moses box before, and you don't watch your opponent's box. But I don't believe you, buddy. I don't believe you.
I swear to you. I will not lie to you.
Why? Why not? Because I understand when fighters say that, but I've never heard a trainer say it before.
Because, okay, how can I gotta try to find a nice way to put this.
Without swearing.
No, it's not even the swearing part. Because of when someone goes to war, right? Sometimes you don't have time to study your enemy, correct?
Correct.
So you gotta make adjustments. When Hannibal conquered Europe, how did they expect Hannibal to get from Africa?
Yeah, but
they expected him to come across on the boats, correct?
Yep.
What did Hannibal do? He fooled their ass. He came through the Alps. They didn't prepare for that. So I'm a believer that if you prepare for any and everything, when you come out, you make the adjustments as the fight go along.
But, Buddy, with all the talk surrounding this young man and, talking about him being the next dominant figure in the heavyweight division and his explosive punch power, etc., and being compared to a young Mike Tyson and all of that sort of stuff, surely Dillian's going to have to make these adjustments because he's older, that he's at that stage of his career where he may have slowed down a little bit. So surely it would be of an advantage to study this young kid to go, let's just see how he approaches fights, how he comes out, see if we can set some sort of traps or whatnot. Surely that would be an advantage.
I've never studied anybody that trained opponents. And when I was fighting, I had to study my opponents. I did what I had to do to get in shape and get prepared for war. And like you said, Dillian has been there already. So if we got to make adjustments, we make them.
Not long left, buddy.
So,
sorry, buddy.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say not long left until the fight. When do you travel over to Saudi? When do you start to get acclimated to it? Because he's been there differently.
We got to Saudi this morning.
Oh, you're there now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in Saudi now, yeah. We got here this morning. We got in like around 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Should be a good one, buddy. Look, we wish you all the best. Again, fantastic trainer.
It.
What you've done with so many fighters over the years has been fantastic. And this might be one of the biggest ones for you. Biggest victory.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if Mr. Yarde is still in the studio, tell him I said I wish him the best of luck on his championship fight.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? God bless, man. You got all the tools. Just got to go handle your business.
That's it.
Buddy McGirt, they're always a character. I always find these American trainers characters,
Yeah, Buddy's he's a nice guy, man.
And he's good training. Look what he's done with Callum Smith as well, by the way.
Great fighter, 2-weight world champion as well, back in the day when there was some serious fighters around. The guy could fight, man, so he does know the game. Not sure I agree with, though, if you're the trainer, not studying the opponent. I understand because that was his mindset as a fighter, but the fighter and the trainer sort of totally slightly
Yeah, that's what I said.
different.
I
And
can
think-
understand how fighters don't want to do it, but trainers,
Yeah.
I'm like, if there's an advantage there, go and watch the tape.
Yeah, where's the tactics?
Yeah, go and watch the tape. Yeah, referencing Hannibal. I mean, there were no tapes back then, so if there's tapes available, you might want to use them. Apologies for any bad language you might have heard as well from Buddy McGirt there as well. Anthony, again, good luck.
Thank you.
Again, wish you all the best and luck in the world. I think you can beat this man, David Benavidez,
Yes, I will.
if you bring your best foot forward. Simon, it's been fantastic with you for the last
Good man.
10 days or so.
Good man. Well
Thank you.
done.
Spence Oliver, thank you very much
you, mate.
as well, sir. Where are you next, Spence? You always seem to be everywhere.
I'm off Sunday to Saudi.
There you go. See, always somewhere, isn't he? Always
Are
somewhere.
you there?
I am there.
Oh, right.
I'm always somewhere as well. All right, up next is Paul Hawksby and Alex Brooker.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.